This is Fowl Players Radio, your podcast for arts, entertainment, and pop culture. Welcome. My name is Michael Spedden, your host. Every episode features fun, fascinating stories about people in the performing arts, actors, authors, dancers, writers, musicians, athletes, you name it. Folks who are center stage, backstage, on camera, or behind the scenes. Sit back and listen. Let's have some fun. Fowl Players Radio is a proud production of the Fowl Players Group and the official podcast of the Fowl Players of Perryville.
This is Just Bill.
This is Rat Bastardson.
And this is Joe Poodle from Red Die Number 9, and you are listening to Fowl Players Radio.
Hi, this is Kathy Ladman, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio, the place where you get all of your good news information. Not really, but it's just a great show.
Hi, folks. This is Jay David, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio.
And folks, thanks for tuning in again to another episode of Fowl Players Radio. I'm Michael Spedden, and tonight's guest is Brian Snow. Brian and I became friends a couple of years ago, and he's a great sports guy. He has a lot of wonderful sports shows on YouTube. Snowman in the Morning, Snowman Multimedia is the name of his company, and links to all of his shows will be in the show notes. I really enjoy talking to him. He's a great guy. He and I are in the same age group and had a lot of the same sports memories growing up. And we just have a lot of time, a lot of fun. Time seems to fly when we talk. And we had him on a couple of years ago. We ended up talking about Orioles, White Sox, and Bugs Bunny for 2 hours. He's a really good guy, and I think you're going to like his shows. So make sure that you check them out, and all the links are in the show notes. The Fowl Players of Perryville will be returning to the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad on May 6th. To get tickets, www.wmsr.com. We'll also be returning to Fifth Company Brewing in Perryville, the Fowl Players of Perryville performing in Perryville on May 12th. That's a Friday. Tickets are available at fifthcompanybrewing.com. Folks, remember too, as you're looking at me right now saying this, you'll see that I have a face for radio. Well, we do have our YouTube channel where you can see the video versions of our podcast, youtube.com at Fowl Players Radio. You can also see us or listen to us on our traditional, channel that has most of our episodes, www.fowlplayersradio.com. We have close to 285 episodes now. And, if you listen to it there, you can also listen to it on all of these other platforms where you find podcasts. And there's quite a few of them now, and that's growing every day too. So, folks, stick around for a fun conversation I had with Mr. Brian Snow. We'll be back right after these words. Hey, folks, the Chorus of the Chesapeake is having their second annual Bull and Shrimp Roast. To benefit the chorus, it's going to be on Sunday, May 21st, 2023, from 1 to 5 p.m. at Superior Catering Hall, 1010 South Oldham Street in Baltimore, Maryland, 21224. Tickets are $50 each. There will be a cash bar available. No BYOB or coolers will be allowed in. For more information and tickets, contact Bob Mattis at 410-435-1947. We hope to see you there.
Hey, this is Brian Damage from Kicks and Rhino Bucket, and you're listening and watching Fowl Players Radio.
Hey, Mary Jo Peel here, and you are listening to Fowl Players Radio.
Hello, my name is Gunhild Carling, and you are listening to Fowl Players Radio, and I am interviewed here, so tune in.
And welcome back to another episode of Fowl Players Radio. Michael Spedden here, and I have rekindled a friendship, a friend of mine that I made a couple of years ago in podcasting. I tell you, I had him on the show a couple of years back, and we really hit it off. We had a blast. I think we spoke for like 2.5 hours talking about everything.
Yes.
From the 83 baseball season, with him being a White Sox guy, me being an Oriole fan, to Bugs Bunny, to cartoons and everything else. I had a blast with him, and we recently Reconnected, and it's Mr. Snowman. Bring me some sports. Put on that headband and gym teacher shorts. Hey, everybody needs them gym teacher shorts. You remember those pieces of work from our era?
Yes.
They said bike.
You would think they were old. You would think they were old NBA basketball shorts, as short as they were.
Exactly,
I didn't realize they'd be as short as they were. You know, when I grew up, when I had my growth spurt, I went from 5'7" to 6'1". And all of a sudden, a quarter of my leg being shown became half of my leg. And I looked at it and went, what the hell happened?
Yeah. Do you remember an airplane when they took Kareem Abdul-Jabbar out of the co-pilot seat and he had his Lakers shorts on?
Yep.
And he had his jock strap hanging out.
Yeah. I mean, when you're 6 feet and over, you go through hell in a handbasket.
Oh, you do. Finding clothes, fitting on amusement park rides, getting into cabs in New York City. Oh, geez, it's a different world. It's a different world.
I'll share a funny story. I worked at Six Point in 2005. And they had roller coaster night. And my plan was, y'all can have roller coaster night. My ass ain't getting on a roller coaster. That's out. That's out. Yeah, I got bribed. A few pretty girls come up to me and said, hey, we'll feed you for the night if you get on a roller coaster. Are you out of your Rick and mind? Come on, we want to see the big guy get on the roller coaster. No, you don't.
Yeah, well, okay.
Because if I get on the roller coaster and it turns upside down, I'm falling.
Well, the thing is, I would look at that too. Hey, we'll feed you. You're gonna make it more difficult for me to fit into the roller coaster.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. You're lucky to get me into the roller coaster, let alone bloated me into the roller coaster.
Bloated me in the roller coaster. Here, so I get suckered. I go to a ride called Corkscrew. I actually fit in the thing, and since I fit in the thing and they locked me in, I had no choice but to go to the ride. So what do they convince me to do? Sit up front. The team leads, who were two of my best friends that summer. Oh, wait, you need to sit in the front. Why the hell am I sitting in the front? I'm taller than everybody. Don't I need to sit in the back? Like, no, it'll be fun for you. It'll be fun for you to sit in the front. If I come back here and it's bad, I don't have any hair now, but if I come back here with the hair on my neck standing up, I'm kicking your ass.
Oh God.
You'll like this. Yeah, that's what they tell me. Yeah, I wrote that thing 3 times because they would not let me out of the seat. They wanted to get a picture of me. You don't want a picture of me because my eyes are gonna bug out. My mouth is gonna be wide open so far you can see my tonsils.
Oh man,
they got a picture of me. I got bribed again. They got a picture of me. I see the picture, and they like, okay, this is on the house. You don't have to pay for it. Good, because I don't want anybody to see it. Little did I know. Little did I know. The young lady I was seeing at the time pulled a fast one on me.
Oh yeah.
She got a copy of the picture. She got a copy of the picture, and she says, "I got a question for you." And you know how you get a question from somebody and your spider senses go off? They don't tingle. They just go completely off.
Oh, yeah. They blow up.
Yeah, they went on. Like, what happened? She says, why did you scream so loud when we were Corkscrew on roller coaster night? I'm like, you little double crosser. I found the person who gave her a copy of the picture. I didn't do any harm to him. I just like really ribbed him in front of his friends, and people thought, okay, he's gonna really harm him because Brian is 6'5" and this guy's like only 5'8". I'm like, I'm not gonna do anything to him. Yeah. I love my job too much and I love people too much. And that was the year I was really like finding myself again, 2005.
Yeah.
That was the year after all the stress I've been through a couple years before, not being able to cover a state championship in 2003, and then more financial difficulties in 2004, living with my parents. 2005, it's like I escaped. I went to Montana for a couple of months, and then I wound up in Toledo and then in Sandusky, and that's where I really started having fun again.
Oh, good. I got to, you were getting into the fitting into things. All right, I got a story for you.
Let me have it.
I'm 6'6", and
so you get it.
Yes, exactly.
So you get it.
About 20 years ago, I went to Dover, and Dover International Raceway. Went there for the NASCAR weekend, and the Monday after the race, if you come back to the track, they have something like the Richard Petty Experience, but it's not them. It's another
Yeah.
group,
Yeah.
Monster Racing or something like that. And so you can ride along in a stock car for a certain amount of money, and you go around like 10 times, and you end up looking like Dan Aykroyd and Chevy chasing Spies Like Us.
And that was a hell of a movie and a hell of a song too.
Yes, yes. But guess who couldn't get out of the car? They wedged me in there, and you know what I felt like.
What's
You remember on Bugs Bunny when they said, "Well, Rabbit, you wouldn't stick your friend Rocky in the stove, would you?"
Yep. Oh,
yeah. You wouldn't throw the match in the stove, would you?
And he shoved both the gangsters into the stove.
That's what I felt like in that
when
car.
I throw a lighted match in there, if he was in there, you might, Robert. You might. Well, when I turn on the gas, if he was in there, you might, Robert. You might. Well, when I throw a lighted match in there, if he was in there, and they both come flying out. Oh no, you don't.
I know. It's like
here's one about fitting in the car.
Mm-hmm.
When I first met Jody,
Mm-hmm.
and she came up to see me in Michigan City, she told me, look for a little pink car. And I said, all right. And I'm already running late because I had to take my friend Josh to work.
Uh-huh.
I passed out. I came back to the hotel where I was staying. I passed out, woke up, and I'm scrambling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scrambling because what turned out to be me meeting the woman of my dreams and the woman I love came up there, and she says, look for a little pink car. She tapped on the door. I look outside, and there's a little pink car, and I'm going, she wasn't kidding.
Yeah.
She wasn't kidding. So Jody is all of 5'3". She calls me tall man around the house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You understand. You completely understand. I know you understand. Mm-hmm. She calls me tall man around the house. I came out and I was getting ready to go to Northern Illinois because I had a football game to cover that night.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, you have to drive because you know your way there. And I don't. I'm like, okay. Baby, I got one question. She said, what's that? How the hell am I going to get in this thing? Her response was legendary when she said, well, we're just going to have to origami you in this thing. A pink Mitsubishi Mirage.
Oh, geez.
She and I can share so many stories about me driving that thing. Mm. And I know you remember the legendary movie Police Academy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And think Bubba Smith. Think that scene.
Oh, yeah. Baltimore Colt, too.
Yes. Where he had to rip out the front seats and sit in the back. That's about how I felt. I couldn't do it to that car, but that's about how I felt. And Jody says, it's fun watching you try to drive this thing and your knees are already in your throat. I'm like, baby, I'm trying. And I was a lot heavier than I am now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was a lot heavier than I am now. And we were getting to know each other. We were hanging out. She would come up to me in Michigan City. I'd go to her in Terre Haute. And one of the things she said to me, I realize now why you want a truck so badly.
Yeah.
So speed up to now, what she did, well, she bought a truck off of my son, Dakota. And one morning, she really crossed me up because I'm thinking, okay, we're going to use it around the house, going to use it around the farm, things like that. Getting ready for work, she says, I'm going to hand you some money and I want you to fill up your truck. What? I want you to fill up your truck. If you've ever seen a black man blush and smile at the same time, that was me that Friday morning. If y'all have ever seen a black man blush, just hang around me and Jody because she's going to say something that'll have me cracking up laughing. And she's going to say something very endearing that will have me blushing. Done it for almost 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It seems like, every time, with all the adversity you've been through over the last few years, I mean, you've always posted, in your posts and everything about how much of a rock she really is for you. And that's a great thing, you know. I mean, all my best to Mrs. Snow. You know, she's just seems like she's great. We gotta meet her sometime, you know.
Oh, you will.
Yeah,
You will.
definitely.
I gotta dig out my championship ring. I was doing dishes earlier before I passed out.
Oh, okay.
And there we go. There's my championship ring.
Oh, great, great.
That's the ring she gave me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it up here. That's the ring. That's my championship ring.
Oh, okay.
I say
Okay.
that every time I talk about her. She's the one that gave me my championship ring.
Yep. Yep.
And what got to me about her,
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a football game, September 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to do something different. You know, I don't want to call her and say hello, how you doing? Like, I want to do something different to stand out. I called her and I put the phone in my ear while I was doing a play-by-play sequence.
Huh.
And I was waiting for a response. And fellas, y'all know when this happens. When you hear something from the woman that you're talking to that just makes you flip upside down, I heard her giggle when I was in sequence and I knew it was over.
Mm.
I heard her voice, I heard her giggle, and I'm going, I'm done. Okay, this is it. This is her. This is her. This. Jody is the one, and you've seen me post this. Jody is the one that pulled me back away from the cliff when we met.
Right. Right.
In 2018.
Mm-hmm.
She has my heart and my soul, and I have hers, man.
Yep. Yep. That's what I can tell that. I can definitely tell that. So, so you picked a winner. You hit the lotto. Definitely hit the lottery with her, man.
I sure did, man. I sure did.
Yep. Well, wonderful. Well, congratulations. And again, all my best
Thank
to
you.
Mrs. Snow, you know,
Thank you. Thank you.
Seems like she's just great and everything. So, I've been, tuning into the show lately and everything and listening as I've been, out and about working, I do a lot of driving for work. So I've got
Right.
the phone hooked up and listening and, hearing you and Cole Johnson and Wise has been on, and that was great to hear Wise again. I mean, he's
Man,
such a
Wise is a
good
nut,
guy. Yeah.
Wise is a nut, and I love him.
Oh, I love him too.
He adds so much to the show. He and Cole. When I asked Cole to be my partner, my
Mhm.
daily partner, he was my only call because
Oh.
I've had like 3 other people saying you need a partner for your show, and I want to
Mhm.
be him. It's when I kept having Cole as a guest.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm like, I have a winner.
Mm-hmm.
I asked Cole to be a part of the show, and that's that.
Right. Right.
And then Wise, oh man, Wise is crazy, and I love it.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
Wise is unbelievable
Mhm.
because he's one of the guys in my corner pushing me to do better and be
Right.
better as a broadcaster and as a man. Both of them are, you included, and everybody else that's been in my corner pushing me to get better. And when I made the decision today to like become a podcast agent,
Mhm.
I'm like, screw it. I've never heard of the position, so I'll create the damn thing.
Right. 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 Your podcast is good. I mean, your daily show is good. I really, I've enjoyed
Appreciate it.
listening to it. I've really enjoyed listening to it. And I'm not much of a basketball guy. I'm more baseball and football. When I have, when I
But
more or
see,
less
you
have-
have my heart already with baseball.
Yeah.
Because when we talked 3 years ago, we talked baseball for 2.5 hours.
We sure did. And
Basically
Bugs Bunny too.
We talked baseball and Bugs Bunny for 2.5 hours. Okay. And what started, and if y'all missed it, gotta find that archive. What started that baseball conversation were 2 words: Scott
Mhm.
McGregor.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Scott McGregor. Scott McGregor.
Scott McGregor versus Lamar Hoyt. And I said Scott
Mhm.
McGregor, you said Lamar Hoyt, and we were off to the races.
We did. I remember, especially because that was, 83.
Yep.
Earl Weaver had just retired, but the remainder of his team was still together. Joe Altobelli came in from the Giants to take Weaver's place.
Mhm.
And he took them to the World Series that year, but they had to get past Chicago, and I was really worried about that at the time.
I think a lot of people were, because they were the 2 most evenly matched teams in the playoffs that year, because Philadelphia drilled Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we saw that coming from the way they beat up Jerry Royce.
Mm-hmm.
and you don't score those many runs against Jerry Royce.
No, you didn't.
Who was a hell of a left-hander.
Yes,
and
yeah.
they had Jerry Royce, and they had Fernando Valenzuela. That 1-2 punch against Charlie Hudson and Steve Carlton. And Carlton led off the series, but they punched the Dodgers in the mouth. The most evenly matched series, even though it was 3-1, was Baltimore and Chicago.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. There was one game that was a blowout, but all the other ones were tight.
Yeah, game three was a blowout because Mike Flanagan twirled a gem. Man, Mike Flanagan and that overhand curveball. The only on the overhand curveball I can compare that to was Scott McGregor's.
Yep.
And you remember that slow motion of McGregor? He would take forever to be in his windup, and the next thing you know, 95 miles an hour gets past you, and you're going, "What the hell happened?"
Yep, I know. He was so deceiving with that windup of his because it was slow, and then also at the last minute, you could tell he was pouring the gas on.
Yep. That's why I love watching him. I love watching the Orioles pitchers. That year, Mike Boddicker got us in Game 2. Mike Flanagan got us in Game 3, and then it was back to McGregor in Game 4. And Game 4 matchup, Scott McGregor against Britt Burns. And goose eggs for 9 innings.
Yep.
Goose eggs for 9 innings. And then Tito Landrum comes up in the 10th. Burns us.
He still shows up for autograph sessions and stuff whenever there's Orioles stuff and whenever they have like Oriole fan days and things like that.
I want to find a way to get him on my show for an interview.
You know something that would be good. That would be good.
I want to find a way to get him and you on my show for an interview because, and I know I have to be careful because my afternoon show is only an hour. Right. And if I get Michael Spedden on the show, 3 hours pass before we even know it, and I have to find a way to cut it down to 55 minutes and send it to the station in Atlanta that's airing both my shows. And it's a great thing, and that's one piece of news I need to tell you. Great thing happened 2 weeks ago when a station in Atlanta run by my good friend Ryan O'Neill picked up both my shows. And they replay them in the evening. They play the Brian Snow Show at 5 and Snowman in the morning at 6 p.m.
Okay.
So 3-hour Snowman block is on WQEE in Atlanta.
Congratulations.
Thanks. And he wants to get it together and sell advertising for it. And I'm already on the hunt for more stations. And I'm on the hunt also for someone that will take the sales aspect off my shoulders.
Sure.
And I got a friend of mine that I'm thinking I'll make my corporate sales manager, but I need to also get like local sales managers, you know, especially in Atlanta. Especially in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, that's
Falcons
a sports town.
Falcons and Braves and Hawks and Georgia Tech, and there's some dog fans in Atlanta. Man, I'm going to take full advantage of this opportunity, and it's something you and I talked about off the air quite a few times, especially when I was convalescing at Duke University Hospital. You know, and I'll never forget your words, and they're very kind. When I had my blood clots, you were one of the first people to respond and go, "Get better. We need you on the air." I remember you saying that.
Yep.
And that was so motivational to me.
Yeah, well, if I was down there, I would have put on my Sergeant Carter hat and made you get out of, come down and yelled at. No, I wouldn't have done. I was very glad. Well, the thing is that I was so glad that you pulled through this year because guys that I used to play music with years ago, and a lot of guys I grew up with, I mean, and you and I are in the same ballpark age group. I think within a year or two, I think. I go, "You're dying."
Yes.
Dropping dead. Now, a lot of these guys, admit, some of these guys I played music with, I knew from playing, they lived hard and they lived rough.
Yes.
But there are a lot of guys that didn't, and I'm like, my God, that's why I've been going to boot camp. I've been having people Sergeant Carter me a couple times a week. I go in there and, oh man, I think about when I was young and athletic.
Yes.
When I was playing sports in high school and everything, this would have been a piece of cake. And now I'm just like, oh, God. And years ago when I was working, in my 20s, I worked in cable TV. I was climbing 30 poles a day. I could run up a pole like a squirrel. You know,
Dig it.
nowadays I'm like, my God.
Look, I was working in factories trying to get my broadcast dream off the ground back in the 90s.
Right,
Like,
right.
okay, I can handle this. Now, don't even think about putting me in a factory. I can't even think about it because, like I said, I've officially been declared disabled. Even though I won my fight with pancreatic cancer, man, don't even think about putting me in a factory. Don't even think about it. Because I won't do it.
I know.
The last factory I worked in had me so depressed because I missed my wife because she had torn her Achilles. And yeah, her Achilles really acted up. And I kept going to Amazon in Durham, North Carolina. Man, I'll let a secret out of the bag. There were some days I drive down there, I put in my couple of hours, and they would say, anybody want to go home early? Put me down on that list, please.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. Anybody want to go home? I'll go home early.
Yep.
I'll go sit in the gas station at Sheetz for about an hour, calm down from that job, and then go from there, and then just go home.
Right.
Because I got tired, and you get to a point where you're our age, and I say this all the time, and it's so true. Sometimes you just get tired.
Yes.
Sometimes you just get tired. How does Popeye put it? That's all I can stand because I can't stand no more.
That's right. Yeah, George Carlin had a bit about that when he was pushing 70. Now we're a good ways away from that, but he was talking about when you get to be our age, you're carrying something big. People come to help you. Hey, can I get that for you?
Yeah. Where are you going? Indianapolis.
And then he said, you can get out of anything by pretending to nod off or something. He's, granddad's getting tired. It's time for him to go home now. And he says, you can shit your pants.
You can even shit in your pants. I haven't done it yet.
Oh my.
But I'm not leaving it out.
Right. Yeah. Hey, I wouldn't rule it out. Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't rule it out. Exactly. I went to my in-laws for Christmas. And Jody brought me a plate of snacks. Everybody else is sitting at the kitchen island talking. Jody and I are just sitting there watching football. I mean, because that's who we are.
Right.
That's who we are. Jody and I are football fans, and we can sit and watch football all day long.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of the things that attracted me to her. She loves football. Her team's the Colts. My team's the 49ers. But in one of the rules of the house, here, the answer was always the Indianapolis Colts. Doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter if it's spring, if it's summer, if it's baseball. He's like, babe, I'm watching baseball game. Nope, can't do that. Why not? Well, one of the rules. The answer's the Colts. And I'm cracking up laughing. I'm cracking up every time she does that.
I have to sit now. The thing is, it's like I'm kind of over the Colts thing for the most part. Because I'm a Baltimore boy, and that tore the heart out of me when that happened. Now the thing is that the Ravens won a Super Bowl before the Colts won a Super Bowl in Indianapolis, so I'm kind of like, goodbye. But
right,
the bone I have to pick, and I want to tell Cleveland Browns fans, shut the up. All right. Shut the all right. And this is my rationalization for this. All right.
I'm listening.
And I'll bring this up on your show too. All right.
Please do.
All right. You went 3 years without a team. Okay. 3 years. That was it. And you got all right. You do not go to Canton, Ohio and look at the Hall of Fame exhibit and see Jim Brown, Baltimore Ravens.
No.
But if I go, I've got to look at Art Donovan, Johnny Unitas, Lenny Moore, Jim Parker, Indianapolis Colts, and that is a disgrace.
And that's also wrong.
It is wrong, but
that's also wrong.
But that's the way it is.
That's like me hating the Oklahoma City Thunder because they were once upon a time the Seattle Supersonics.
Right.
And I get so much flack for posting something saying to the tune of Oklahoma City should just disband their team and go back home to Seattle. And they're like, well, you can't do that. They have a history now. Yeah, history of losing.
Right. But that's the thing, I think that and these people that are going around, they have security guards at Art Modell's grave because people are going to go in there and desecrate it over that. You lost a team for 3 years.
Stop it.
Shut up.
Right.
Shut up. But an interesting guest I had. An interesting guest. Now, there was a couple of years right before the Ravens came, 2 years.
Yeah.
Baltimore had a Canadian football team. You knew that, right?
Baltimore Stallions.
Yeah, the Baltimore Stallions. I had Chris Armstrong on as a guest. He was the leading wide receiver. He also played for Edmonton and a couple of other teams in the league. Went on to Montreal when the team left Baltimore and went to Montreal when the Ravens got, after they got kind of, kicked out, which was it was awful.
Which was bad because I was enjoying the Stallions.
Yeah, I was too.
And they're the only American team to win a Grey Cup. They're the only American team to win a Grey Cup.
Absolutely,
Baltimore
absolutely.
Stallions.
Yep, and I had Chris Armstrong on, and he told me about that whole experience. How he came here. Tracy Ham and a bunch of other of the players, that had been well known. They kind of drafted a bunch of them together, and then they had like the walk-ons come in, and they actually got a couple of people out of the walk-ons that came in, and 2 seasons, one Grey Cup loss, one Grey Cup win, and then out the door. But I gotta tell you, that was so much because they kept the tradition of the Colts together. The reason why the Colts, and I'm sure this is probably true of the Browns too, the Colts were the people's team.
Yes.
Back in those days, you didn't make millions of dollars. You worked, you played during the season. Then during the off season, you went back to work at Bethlehem Steel or wherever you worked, and you were working alongside your fans. You're in there shoveling slag and at the steel mill,
right?
And you're living next door. You're eating in the same restaurants. Your kids are going to school together.
Yep.
They were approachable. They were just regular neighborhood guys. And when they got pulled away like that, that just stabbed us right in the heart.
Oh,
especially the way it was done.
I hated
the way it was done.
I absolutely hated to see them go.
Well, you know how they went at 3 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock in the morning. Same thing with the Colts. Same thing with the Colts. They moved in the middle of the night.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. The Baltimore Colts.
The Colts moved in the middle of the night.
Yep.
Like no one would notice.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The Rams did this Stan Junkie or Crunky, and the Rams did the same thing. Out of St. Louis and back to Los Angeles.
Yep. Something that's interesting too is that when the Ursays took over the Colts in 72.
Oh boy.
There was a trade. The Ursays were supposed to get the Rams. They were supposed to buy the Rams, but Carol Rosenblum traded the Colts for the Rams. Traded Irsay, the Colts for the Rams.
Oh boy.
So then we got stuck with Irsay.
Man, if that trade had never happened.
I know.
And that's all I'll say.
Yeah. Now, and again, the thing is, it's like, I can't blame the people of Indianapolis or your wife or for liking it. Hey, NFL team, here we are. Woo, let's
And for the longest time I couldn't say Indianapolis Colts.
Right. I know.
I'm still thinking they're the Baltimore Colts, and now I see the RCA Dome come out of nowhere, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna have to learn to say this thing. I couldn't say. I can honestly say I couldn't say it until junior year. I finally got used to the Indianapolis Colts because they were the Baltimore Colts for the longest.
They were. And you know what else too, though? The band, the Baltimore Colts marching band, stayed together.
Yes.
They stayed in Baltimore, and they used to go to like DC and Philly and New York, and they used to go around and they would play at halftime at NFL games, and they would do parades and everything else. And they stayed together until 96 when they became the Marching Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there are some people that are still, I don't know for sure, but people that were in it when they were the Colts band too,
Yes.
still now. So
It's
that's
like,
an interesting tradition. And do you
it's
remember
like
the
when they,
plane crash,
mm-hmm.
1976? Yeah, Colts versus the Steelers, and this was the Franco Harris, Terry Bradshaw era
Mm-hmm.
Steelers. The Colts actually were hosting the divisional game. The
Mm-hmm.
Colts won the AFC East. They had a better record than the Steelers. They were like 2 games better. So the Steelers came here. Steelers absolutely mopped the floor with them. I think it was like 40-14 or something like that. And towards the end of the game, some drunk got into a Cessna and started flying around the stadium, throwing toilet paper out the window.
Oh,
and then he tried to buzz the field. And luckily, the game was that bad, people were leaving early.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to buzz the field, but didn't make it high enough and crashed that plane into the upper deck. Memorial Stadium was shaped like a horseshoe. The outfield, because both Orioles and Colts played there. It was back when they had that. The outfield was open, but the rest of it was a horseshoe, and he just couldn't pull the plane up high enough and ended up crashing in the. Now he lived. The plane was trashed, but it wasn't like the thing exploded or anything. And he got locked up for a long time for that one.
Oh well, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Oh, tons and tons of I tell you, I have a seat from Memorial Stadium. They tore it down around 2000, 2001. And the very last football game that was there was the Ravens against the Tennessee Oilers. Okay, before they became the Titans, they were the Tennessee Oilers.
Tennessee Oilers. Never forgive them for that either.
Have a name that makes sense.
Because
are there any lakes?
That certainly doesn't.
Are there any lakes in Los Angeles? I don't know. The only thing I see is that big concrete thing that goes through town where whenever they have a movie, they have like an auto race down there,
I don't know if there are any lakes in Los Angeles.
Does that count as a lake? I guess it's the Los Angeles, whatever it is. But anyway,
it looks like more like a pond than a lake.
It looks more like a sewage area, But
it does.
it does. But where was I? Making sense, names, something. Anyway.
Yeah.
The Tennessee Oilers. So as I was, it was the last game, and people were going in there with wrenches, and they were taking seats, and they were carrying sections of bleachers up on their shoulders.
Yep.
And when they were leaving the stadium, you're carrying bleachers. All of a sudden, it goes handcuffs on one hand. You put the bleachers down.
Absolutely.
I broke the top row of my seat off. I stuck it in my jacket and walked out, and I still have it. And
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I love it.
And then they had a thing where you could go back when they were getting ready to tear the stadium down. But what they did is they took all the seats out. The company that demolished it, they took all the seats out. They sold them at a charity. But what they did, Memorial Stadium was a memorial to World War II and Korea veterans. And there was a saying on there that said, "Time will not dim the glory of their deeds." And they took that off of the old Memorial Stadium and put it on a wall that's now between the Ravens Stadium and the Orioles Stadium, Real Park at Camden. So it's a pretty nice thing that they did with that,
Yeah.
And but the thing is that's good with you being a Chicago fan. The teams have stayed pretty constant there. I mean, there was the Chicago Cardinals years ago, but too young to remember them. But there was always the Bears. You've had the Bears, the Bulls, the White Sox, the Cubs.
Yeah.
The Blackhawks. So you've never had to look over your shoulder for anything like that. New York can't even say that.
Well, in '89, there was a Save Our Sox campaign because there was a threat of them moving to St. Petersburg. They didn't get a new stadium. Lo and behold, 1991 comes along and there's New Comiskey Park.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a threat of the Sox to move. And then, to my knowledge, that's the only threat of the White Sox to move. They didn't. They got their new stadium. They've really upgraded it and made it modern. They're putting more seats in. They're making it a real baseball stadium now, and I love it.
Right.
I love it.
Now, I want to ask your opinion. Okay, I want to ask your opinion.
All right.
Okay. There are two kinds of Yankees. Okay. All right. There are actually three kinds. Three kinds.
Oh boy.
Okay. There are what I call organic Yankees.
Yes.
That came up through the farm system. Out of high school or college. They got drafted by the Yankees. They came up through the farm system, and they are now on the Yankees. Okay. There are the
Eric Jeter comes to mind.
Right. And Judge, I think, too. Right. All right. And then there are the holy cow, I'm a Yankee, like guys that got traded there.
Yes.
Okay.
You recall anyone?
Right. And then the kind that I can't stand, and I'll clean it up. I call them the jerk Yankees. All right. Now I'm all for making money and everything.
Yes.
Right? But then you get these people. Let me give you an example.
All right.
Mike Messina.
Moose.
Okay. All right. Not only did he leave, okay, now he had an opportunity here, and it wasn't that much less he was going to make by staying here.
Right.
What I understand.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
He could have been the face of the franchise. He could have been the Palmer or the Brooks Robinson, or, because Ripken, I think he left. Ripken was about ready to go when he left.
2001.
Yeah.
2001.
Right. So he could have been the new face of the franchise.
Yeah.
And gone but he had to be go to the Yankees. And there's a lot of other people that I think Giambi may have done that.
Yeah. Giambi left Oakland.
Like Randy Johnson and Clemens were traded. So they're like, holy crap, I'm a Yankee.
Yeah. That's the second category. The holy crap, I'm a Yankee.
Yeah.
Like especially true for Randy Johnson and Roger Clemens.
Right. But the people that could have been the face of the franchise, could have brought pride to their city.
Yep.
They go to the Yankees and then their team goes to hell.
Yep.
And the other thing with that Messina, he wouldn't wear his Orioles hat in the Hall of Fame.
No.
He played here longer, and his record here was better.
He wore a Yankee hat going into the Hall of Fame.
Well, no, he didn't wear any hat.
Oh, he didn't wear any hat.
It was a plain hat.
Oh boy. And he wouldn't represent the Orioles.
No, he wouldn't.
That's sad.
So, they were going to put him in the Orioles Hall of Fame here, and I was going to throw.
How many years was he the ace of the Orioles and carried that staff?
91 he was he came up in like August. So
yeah,
he was,
like 92 to what?
92 to 2000.
He carried that staff.
He did. And then
he was the one pitcher as a White Sox fan, during that time I hated to face.
Right.
I hated to face Messina.
Yep. He was, and then from 01 to 08, he was on the Yankees.
He was in New York.
Yeah. And that just,
that stings.
Yeah.
That stings, man.
Yeah. So what do you think of that? And there was other people like that too, like, Reggie Jackson too.
Yeah.
He could have stayed here.
I went through it with Frank Thomas.
Yeah. Okay.
I went through it I can draw you a great comparison. I went through it with Frank Thomas. Because after we won it all in 2005, Frank Thomas left, went to Oakland, and then went to Toronto, and then back to Oakland, and then he retired.
Right. Now,
he didn't hit his 500th home run with the White Sox. He hit it with Oakland in Minnesota. But I'm super happy he wore that White Sox hat.
Yes.
Going into the Hall of Fame, because that's 16 years.
Right.
That is 16 seasons. 19 in all of a career 301 hitter. So I understand completely where you're coming from.
Oh, Frank Thomas was incredible. Frank Thomas was absolutely amazing.
One
I
of the best
remember the
power
big hurt.
hitters one of the best power hitters I ever watched. And I was so giddy when
Mhm.
he faced opposing pitchers that was supposed to be the best, and he would just find a way to poke a ball through the left side or
Mhm.
yank the ball through the right side for a base hit, and you see the pitcher's reaction going, "I had him."
Yeah, God. Well, he's been out of the game, and he still has balls that haven't landed that he's hit.
Mhm.
I mean, you want to talk about some
I've
moon
seen
shots.
half of them.
Good Lord.
I've
Oh,
seen
God,
half of
God.
them, especially
was-
especially if he pulls the ball
Oh, God.
out of New Comiskey Park. That's on the train tracks, and it ain't coming back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure that because he was a lefty, right?
He was righty.
He was okay.
He was a righty, 6'5", 270 pounds of all muscle and power.
Oh, God. I mean, he was just absolutely. I mean, just tremendous, just absolutely tremendous. And the thing is, too,
destroyed opposing pitching.
Oh, he did. And the fact that he ended up, and the fact that he was a big guy,
Mm-hmm.
and he had the 301 batting average too. I mean, it shows me he had some leg to run out some hits as well.
Yeah, he has. He did. He did. And people want to, say, "Oh, he's doing steroids." Really? Frank Thomas is one of the most natural power hitters I've ever watched.
Oh yeah, I know.
He was one of the most natural power hitters I ever watched. And he never took himself too seriously. He always wanted to get better.
Mhm.
Injuries kept him from playing first base his entire career.
Yeah.
And a lot of he shouldn't get in as a DH. Well, he started at first base, stupid.
Right.
Do your research. That's what I tell. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I tell these NBA fans all the time. When I talk sports, I tell them, do your research first.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have to deal with these Tom Brady fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a sore subject to me.
Brady,
one of a couple, and I meet so many Bradyites. The day that Brady officially retired,
mm-hmm.
they crowned him the greatest quarterback of all time. Excuse me, no. And well, how can you say Brady's not the greatest? There was a fellow named Joe Montana who was there first.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. There's a lot. I would say. I mean, Brady. I mean, he has accomplished a hell of a lot.
He does. He did.
He does.
I will never take that away from him.
But the thing is that.
But as Mike Francesa said, the greatest regular season quarterback is Peyton Manning, and the greatest Super Bowl quarterback is Montana.
Yep.
I mean,
I would say the thing is that worked to Brady's advantage is that as he got older, or when he lost that 1 year,
to an Achilles.
Yeah, torn Achilles. He lost that 1 year. Then after that, there was a new penalty in the NFL. It was called sneezing anywhere near Tom Brady. And you see,
breathing anywhere near Tom Brady.
Yeah, breathing anywhere. I mean, they protected him, and
they did.
Of course, you don't want anybody getting injured out there, but
you don't want anyone get right.
Yeah, there were just a lot of flags that were thrown. It looked like to me like, I don't know. They're kind of protecting him. And
they protected him for 17 years.
And I tell you, good old Deacon Jones would have had a word or two to say about that.
Deacon Jones, Mike Singletary, Ronnie, a whole bunch of hard hitters. Lawrence Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Lawrence Taylor said his guy's Montana.
Yep. Did you know? I saw there was a celebrity sports thing where there was it was the Ray Block Courage Awards. Now, Ray Block was a trainer, I believe, for the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
And they have an award every year where one player from every NFL team wins an award, if they're a courageous person or if they show whatever you need to get the Courage Award.
Yep.
And they bring, they have them in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
And the week before that, they had like a breakfast banquet. Like one of the radio stations put it on, and they had not only like a lot of old Colts show up and some Ravens, but they also had Deacon Jones was there, and he gave a big old spin. He really tore into some people, about. Now, I mean, even stuff he did back in those days is now out of the game.
Outlawed. Mhm.
You know, he would say he would come off the line. The first thing he would do was smack people right in the head.
Yeah, the
And
head
that
slap.
second that they blinked, he was by you.
Yep. Yep, the head
And
slap. And they outlawed that.
they outlawed that. But other than, even if he didn't do that, I mean, he was just tremendous. And the thing
Agreed.
is that, you know, not only the people that are, you know, the elite in the league, you know, people like Brady who, you know, but there was other people too. You're bringing in these rookies and protecting people. They
Yep.
haven't shown anything yet. They haven't shown anything yet. I mean, do you
Haven't
agree with
earned it.
that?
They haven't earned anything yet either.
Right, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
They haven't earned the doggone thing.
Mhm.
And yet they're being protected. Lamar Jackson, anyone? I mean, Lamar Jackson
Yeah.
won a unanimous MVP for what?
Yep.
It wasn't throwing.
Yeah, I know. You know what scares me about him? Being a Ravens fan and watching that here, he is one bad hit away from being done.
And he nearly got it several times.
I know.
He nearly got it several times. It's the running quarterback should be done.
Yeah.
You want your quarterback to be in the pocket, manipulate the pocket. And I know a lot of teams run their offense out of the shotgun, but if you're smart, you will base your offense on running the damn ball.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. I mean, you had, you know, the running quarterback. We saw what happened to RG3. You know, that was ugly.
He wasn't the same after that.
Never was. You know, Randall Cunningham, you know, he relied on that earlier in his career, but after a while, he couldn't continue to do that.
Right.
Who else? Vic,
Michael Vick,
another one.
Steve Young for a while until
Yeah.
he figured out what he needed to do in the pocket. You know, and I take Steve Young off of that list because, as I said, he figured out what to do in the pocket, and he also threw 6 touchdowns in the Super Bowl game.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I mean,
he figured out what he needed to do in the pocket.
Mhm.
He's he was very, very mobile.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
he did, and he figured out, okay, I only run when I have to, because everybody's running a version of the West Coast offense now, which was designed by the godfather of the West Coast offense, Mr. Bill Walsh.
Bill Walsh, yeah.
I mean, put some respect on the godfather of the West Coast offense, because now everybody's running a version of it.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
That's only a piece of Bill Walsh's legacy. The other piece wore number 16 for 13 years in San Francisco.
Yes.
The other piece of Bill Walsh's legacy is Joe Montana.
Right. Oh, I mean, what
They want
a
to tell
franchise.
they want to tell me that Brady surpassed Montana. Wrong answer.
Yeah.
Because until you can erase 3 Februaries where Tom Brady lost the ultimate game, shut up.
Yeah. He lost 2 of them to Eli Manning. Too.
And one to a backup quarterback named Nick Foles.
You're right. Oh, he was a backup,
Super Bowl
wasn't he?
52 to a backup quarterback who was in a starting role due to an injury by the name of Nick Foles.
Yeah, that game was kind of a shootout, though. You know, I mean, you could probably say a lot about the defense on that game too. I mean, do you think?
Yeah, defense was optional.
Yeah, yeah, that was a
defense
like a Pro
was
Bowl
optional.
game than a Super Bowl, huh?
Defense was optional in that game.
Yeah.
Very, very optional. And what do they celebrate from that game? Oh my God, Tom Brady threw for 500 yards in that game. What happened?
Yeah, I know.
What happened? He took a big fat L. That's what happened. And he lost to a quarterback that threw for 379 against your defense.
Yep. I tell you, they were never the Patriots had always been a thorn in the Ravens' side, but I tell you, 2 of the biggest playoff wins the Ravens had were against the Patriots.
The Patriots. One
know,
was a wild card game, and the other was the AFC Championship in 2012.
Yep.
Because earlier that day, my 49ers came back from 17 down to beat the Falcons 28-24. And then Baltimore goes into New England and smacks the Patriots around 28-13.
Yep. And Flacco was just on fire that game, you know. I wouldn't have gone as far.
I love the fact that the Ravens got even for the year before. because Justin Tucker missed a field goal that would have tied the game.
Oh, that wasn't Tucker.
That wasn't Tuck?
Tucker wasn't on the team
Right,
yet.
that wasn't Tucker.
Oh, who was his name? Billy Cundiff.
Cundiff.
Billy
Cundiff missed a field goal, pulled it left.
I know.
He pulled the daylights out of it, pulled it left.
Hmm.
And
I remember
in the next year they got even.
Yep, I remember the film of that because you know how they show the sidelines during a field goal and everybody's like, it's almost like they're watching tennis. Yeah, they were like,
yep.
You see that, all of a sudden you see Terrell Suggs look up and go, oh my God.
Uh-huh.
He just had that look on his face. Like, oh geez, and they should have had that one. They should have had it, but they didn't.
Think how the Minnesota Vikings feel.
I know.
How do you think the Minnesota Vikings and the great Paul Allen, who's the fabulous voice of the Minnesota Vikings, how do you think they feel?
Oh,
Snap, good spot down. Walsh's kick is up, and it is no good. He missed it. Are you kidding me?
I missed thinking, what happened with that Dallas kicker during the playoffs? Didn't he miss like 4 or 5 extra points in a row?
4 extra points, and he missed a field goal against the 49ers.
What happened? Did he have the yips or something, or what happened?
Yeah, he had the yips for a while, and somehow he still has a job.
I know. I mean, that's just
with that, I say,
yeah.
Thank you, Paul Allen.
Yep.
Thank you, Paul Allen. But man, some of this stuff that goes on in sports today, they're being too protective of the athlete and not too protective of the rules.
I know. There was, oh God, what game was it I was watching? One of the playoff games where, who was the kid? It was a rookie. And he roughed the pass, or he roughed the punter. And he was on the sidelines crying after the game. What was his name? You remember that game, the playoff game this past year?
I believe it was the AFC Championship.
Yes.
Where Joe Burrow was, not Joe Burrow, but Patrick Mahomes was knocked out of bounds.
Yes, it was that one. Yeah, that's what it was. He knocked him out of
He set up the basically the walk-off field goal.
That's what it was.
That gave the Chiefs the win. It was the AFC Championship.
Yes, it was the Chiefs, and who were they playing?
Bengals.
Bengals. That's what it was. It was. But the thing is, in that game too, I think there was a couple of maybe it wasn't. There were a couple of times where the guy barely touched the punter. The punt was off. He came in, and
they got two of those.
Yeah,
they got two of those earlier in the game.
Right, and he even tried to like kind of fly, so he avoided the guy, but he ended up touching him anyway.
He ended up touching him anyway, and they gave him 15 yards.
That's stupid.
There
was no harm done to that guy,
and he was trying to get out of the way.
He was.
So he doesn't rough the punter.
Right, he was jumping. He was jumping after the ball, and then when he knew he didn't get it, he tried to kind of like move so he wouldn't hit him.
Professional sports today has become so pussified; it's not even funny.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll give you the perfect NBA example of how professional sports has become so pussified. Does the name LeBron James mean anything to you?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know the NBA that well.
I get a lot of hatred. I get a lot of hatred when I say LeBron James as a basketball player is trash.
Okay.
Because he's awkward in trying to do anything that involves skill, like a jump shot, like free throws, like his footwork and trying to post people up. I won't spend too much time on it, but you got that example. You got Tom Brady, and the NFL protecting him, Grady Jarrett, anyone. Same with Aaron Rodgers, although the 49ers were allowed to pulverize Aaron Rodgers. It just seemed like the 49ers were the only team that was allowed to pulverize Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Every other team gets flagged. And I think the rules committee said, okay, this is San Francisco, let him go.
Yeah.
Which is funny to me because I know quite a few Packer fans. 2019, they were so excited that the Packers were playing Frisco in Santa Clara. And I got a ton of messages saying, we're going to beat you guys. Right? No, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Mhm.
What makes you so sure? Look, we kicked your ass in November. We're going to kick your ass tonight.
Mm.
Yeah, they weren't happy when we beat them 37-20.
Yeah. No, that's
They were
pretty
not happy when we
decisive.
beat them 37-20. And Jimmy Garoppolo only threw the ball 8 times in that game.
Right. Right.
And I had my friend Trey on the show with me, and he said, well, I had to get pumped up. I had to really get ready, but I knew we didn't have a snowball's chance in hell of winning that game. And I cracked up laughing when he said that.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you, yeah, I I agree with you on that. Definitely. Did you you know, you had mentioned before Tucker, and I was just kind of thinking about how fortunate the Ravens have been over the past 20 years that honestly, they've had more winning records than they haven't. We've had a couple of disaster years here.
Yeah.
But I gotta tell you, the one thing that the Ravens have had that a lot of other teams haven't, excellent kickers. Matt Stover for all those years. We had a couple of years in between. Then we had Justin Tucker ever since. 2 of his record-breaking field goals were last minutes against Detroit, too.
61 yards and 66 yards.
Yeah, all right. Secondly,
who Justin Tucker reminds me of? An old
who's that?
49 kicker named Ray Warshing. Only with a stronger leg.
Okay. He's also an opera singer. Did you know that? He is. He actually he does a lot of singing in Baltimore. He does a lot of charity events and things like that where he'll come in and he'll be accompanied by an orchestra and he'll get up there and he's got a powerful voice. That was his major in college was vocal opera. It was opera.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. I'll send you a clip of him.
Please do.
I'll send you a clip of him. Yeah, you'll love it. You'll love it. But
I have to hear him now. Wow.
The contingencies, they found ways because there were some lean years when 2000 they won the Super Bowl. The next year they started going down a little bit. They had Gerback. Yeah, that wasn't such a good year. They made the playoffs, but they were kind of on their way down. And then they brought in Kyle Bowler, who I never thought was a horrible quarterback. If he would have had a better offensive line, he would have fared better. But
exactly,
it was what it was. But in those years, the Ravens found ways to win games by forcing plays, like Ed Reed forcing fumbles, interception returns, fumble returns for touchdowns. They just found so many oddball ways to score and to put points on the board. The Super Bowl year, they went 5 games. How many teams have won a Super Bowl going 5 games without scoring a touchdown?
Not many, especially
Not
given
very
this
many.
especially given this offensive league.
Right. And the scoring in those games, those 5 games, was all done. Those were all field goals. All field goals.
All field. The Giants did that to us
in
1990. Doggone you, Bill Parcells.
Yeah.
But I still applaud to this day like I did that day because it was the greatest damn NFC championship game I ever watched.
Yeah. That
it was a chess match with Bill Parcells and Bill Walsh. Or that was George Seifert. I beg your pardon. That was George Seifert. That was one of the greatest NFC championship games I ever watched. And I got a lot of flack from my friends when I was away at college. But they knew I love real football. And that NFC championship and the Giants used to give us the blues all the time.
Yeah.
Whenever we hooked up with the Giants in a playoff game, they gave us the blues.
Oh yeah.
They always gave us the blues, especially if a game was played at Candlestick Park. Because Eli Manning beat us in 2011, and I'm still wondering how the hell that happened. Well, we fumbled the ball twice. We got the yips.
Yeah.
We got the yips. And you You can't make it. You can't. There's no rivalries in sports anymore.
Right. I know.
There's no rivalries in sports anymore. Not even in baseball. Yeah, especially given the fact that Yordan Alvarez and the Houston Astros are going to run roughshod again. And who wants to match up with that?
I know. That's.
I mean, Seattle should have stomped a mud hole in their ass in game 1, and they were, but that's why they play 9 innings.
Yep.
So they can have Yordan Alvarez come up and do that in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Yeah, I know. And
I watched the Rich Eisen show the next day, and I loved his reaction when he just simply said, "What the hell was that?"
I
watched it live, and I couldn't believe it happened.
Right. I know. Because they had Houston. Oh yeah, that's going to be the Orioles have that guy who rebuilt the Houston Astros.
Yeah,
and
the problem is the culture's already set in Houston.
Right.
The culture's already set.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that he's going to try to rebuild the Baltimore Orioles, but that's hard to duplicate.
It is
when you don't have the horses.
Right. But they had a winning record last year after winning. I think they had 3 seasons out of the last 4. 18, I think they won 47 games.
Yeah.
19, I think they won 55.
2000,
they were 25 and 35 in the COVID year. And then 21, I think they won 51 games. Last year, they won 83. They came in above 500.
Right.
Which surprised the hell out of me.
83 and 79.
83 and 79.
Can you believe that?
Yeah. But the thing is with me, I'm never one of those guys I never watch spring training. I never pay attention to the preseason. I'm like, surprise me opening day. I want to see that. I don't get stressed into they drafted. I don't know who the hell they're drafting. They know what they're doing when they're bringing people in, hopefully.
And then the Major League Baseball draft is getting out of control.
Or
the fans thereof, or the fans thereof. The fans of the fans of Major League Baseball draft is getting out of control. It's getting crazy. It's getting absolutely crazy. Oh my God, we're going to draft this guy and this guy. You're not going to know what he's going to do for another 2 years.
I know. And we've had so many people come in here. The Orioles, they had their great years in the 80s. They kind of sloped down. Then they came back in the 90s for a while, 96, and then 97, 98 through 12 or 11.
Yeah.
They were trash, and then
Delman Young shows up in a playoff game in 2014.
Yep.
Beats the Tigers single-handedly in game 2 of that series when it was when Camden Yards was painted orange.
Yes, it was.
Camden Yards was painted orange. I mean, everybody wore orange that afternoon. That's what they need to do. They gotta get back to doing playoff games in the afternoon and put it on network television, will you please?
Yes. I can remember
I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of them hiding behind a paywall, and it blows.
Yeah.
And I have to watch a replay on YouTube to find out what happened because I'm busy taping a show or I'm out running an errand or something like that. That's why I can't do MLB.com anymore. Because for a while they usually offered it free for you to watch a game and listen to a game. And I'm a radio rat. So I'm going to choose the radio option, so I can add something to my game when I call high school games.
Yeah.
I'm a radio rat by nature. Thank you, John Rooney, longtime voice of the Chicago White Sox. And Vin Scully of the Dodgers, Jack Buck with the Cardinals, John Miller with the Giants.
Yep. Chuck Thompson.
Yep. John Miller's with the Orioles for a while.
Yeah, he was.
He was migrating between the Orioles and the Giants, and he now is with the Giants permanently. Dave Jagler and Charlie Slows with the Nats. Love listening to them. and that's about the only teams I listen to on the radio. I can't even listen to my White Sox on the radio because it don't sound the same.
Right.
I mean, I love you, Len Casper, but he's more of a television guy. He's more of a television guy. And unless you're doing a simulcast, which is rare, which is very, very rare. I mean, they never did simulcast for baseball as far as I can remember. They've always had separate teams. They've always had separate announced teams for baseball. A trend I intend to change with some high school baseball I got in mind. But it's not the same anymore. It's not the same. And I'm thinking I can call a game in my sleep better than half of these guys doing it now. And rest in peace, Dave Wills.
Yes.
Who passed away, a longtime radio voice of the Tampa Bay Rays. And I had a chance to have him on my show. So rest in peace to him. Oh, I forgot. Two of my favorite guys that are in television and radio right now, Dave Sims, TV voice of the Mariners, and Robert Ford, radio voice of the Astros.
Okay.
And I'm hoping, cross your fingers, to get Dave Sims on my program on one of his off days, so I can just brag. Like, hey, I don't know baseball, man. I'm not. Look, I'm a black man not knowing baseball. You haven't spoken to me yet.
Yeah.
I can throw that interview at him. Hey, I spoke to another baseball voice. Take that.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'm gonna have to scram because wifey's on the way home with dinner.
Oh, hey, that's the most important thing. So, Brian,
yes, sir.
It was excellent to reconnect and everything, and
man.
I can't wait to do some more this year. This is shameless plug time, where you can shamelessly plug anything you'd like to shamelessly plug, being as shameless as you want with no shamelessness spared. So go for it.
YouTube.com/@Snowman Multimedia is where you can find all of my programs. And if you want the audio, wherever you consume your podcast, you can consume the podcast version there. And you can go to snowmanmultimediasports.com. I'm starting an email list. Please help my family and I get West. I got a new GoFundMe out on Facebook, or you can help with the Cash App donation to help us get through the week. Which is a favor I'm going to ask everybody this week, because I got to do a lot of driving to pick up my daughter and everything and help get ready for baseball season. But youtube.com/@Snowman Multimedia is where you can find me and all of my programming.
Wonderful, Brian. Well, make sure you tune in. He does a wonderful job. As you can see, he definitely knows sports, and it's a really fun show. It really is a fun show. So make sure you tune in and show my friend Brian Snow some love. Mr. Snowman, bring us some sports. Hey.
Yes, indeed. I love it.
So, folks, thank you for tuning in to Fowl Players Radio, and we will see you all next time.
Hi, everybody. Dwight Weems from Gaz the Fun Band, and you're watching and listening to Fowl Players Radio.
This is A.D. Adams, and you are tuned in to Fowl Players Radio with your host, Michael Spedden.
Yeah, hi, this is David Simmons from DC Star, and I am just encouraging all of you to tune in to Michael Spedden's show on Fowl Players Radio and love the rock and roll of the past and the art of the future.
Hi, this is Paul Castiglia, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio, the one-stop shop for all your pop culture needs.
And folks, thanks again for tuning in to our episode tonight with Brian Snow, Snowman in the Morning. He's a great sports guy, and I really enjoy listening to him. And I really hope you enjoyed this episode. And you check out his shows. They really are good. They're a lot of fun. He's a fun guy. And I was really honored that he wanted to come back on the show and spend some time just shooting the breeze about sports and other things that we loved. So, folks, we will see you next time on Fowl Players Radio. Remember that you can see Fowl Players Radio on all of these platforms. Remember our channel on YouTube, Fowl Players Radio, at Fowl Players Radio on YouTube, and at www.fowlplayersradio.com. We will see you next time, folks. Take care.